Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 46 of Tour of Japan, the review series for Gran Turismo's selection, of course, as the name suggests, of Super GT cars. And in this episode, we are now actually featuring the final Supra of the series. We've reviewed every version of the Supra JGTC machine that is on the game, apart from the base model, which, as I mentioned before, we won't be doing of any of the models. And this particular version is possibly the most underused Supra of all. I've never seen a single person use this car. I have seen people use its far more recognisable and actually inferior sibling, the 2000 Spec Castrol Supra, but this car is the 2001 Castrol Supra. Now surely 1 year's difference can't make that much difference to a car overall, especially in racing. But actually, in the case of the Castrol Tom Supras, there is a massive difference between the two. Now both cars use a 2-litre engine, and both cars do have very impressive spec. The Castrol Supra has always been a brilliant car on Gran Turismo. This version, though, is quite simply the better of the two. It has no disadvantages compared to the more famous liveried version. This is superior in every way, and in every way that it's not superior, it is at least equal to the existing model, such as in engine capacity, price, and weight. Those three things are equal to the existing model. A 2-litre, it costs 750,000 credits, and it weighs 1,100 kilos. From then on, everything is better. The power is 829 horsepower compared to 812 on the previous year's model. The torque is 731 compared to 719 on the previous year. The PP is 3 higher at 648, and the horsepower per tonne is 754 compared to the slightly older model's 738. So this car is the superior of the two. So why then does it get used less if it is the better car? Well, I personally think that there's probably two main reasons why that's the case. One is the livery. As I already mentioned, the older model is a far more recognisable and far more famous and loved design, the iconic white and green, and people tend to go for what they know. This car has a little bit of a toy car look to it. It looks a bit like a Hot Wheels car with the paint scheme. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it just doesn't really look as classy and professional as the more iconic 2000 shape. The second reason why I think many people probably don't appreciate how good this car is because quite simply in the dealerships, very few people want to spend 750 to 950,000 buying every single model just to find out which one's the best. So people, again, tend to go for what they know. And most people who have played Gran Turismo before already know how good the Castrol is. Whereas if you're looking at sheer spec, PP and price in the dealership, well, all of the Supras seem to pretty much break even. In fact, if you were to consider the dealership as the final argument on the matter, you'd probably never buy the premium yellow hat version because it has a lower PP than all of the others, whereas in actual fact, it's the best of them in some ways. So as far as PP and the dealership goes, you really can't base it on price and PP. This car in the dealership would appear to be pretty much identical to its older sibling. But, as I've said, it is the better of the two. So if you haven't tried this version of the Castrol Tom Supra and you are a fan of the Castrol Supra in general, I would recommend that you do so, because it has everything that you love about the previous model, apart from the look, but then takes it even further. Now, speaking about what it can actually do around the track, what it's actually capable of, the top speed isn't the strongest, to be completely honest, of the GT500s, but that goes for the older Castrol as well. And to be honest, That goes for most of the Supras and the older Skylines. They're not that great for top speed. The very early 2000s models tend to hover around the 225 region or 230 at best. This model is around that same category, around that same kind of performance. However, the great thing about the Supra, and this goes for the Supras in general, is how good they are all round. Being already in effect a sports car, it has very low centre of gravity, it has smooth handling, very good handling, as many people know. Of course you can get the tail out, as you can with pretty much any racing car, but with the Supra it has all performance that you need for most tracks. It has that acceleration, it has a decent amount of top speed, the handling is very good, the brakes are excellent, there's a surprising amount of grip considering it's not an all-wheel drive model, and overall it's just a dependable car. That's why people like the Supra. So, if you are a fan of the Supra, or more specifically the Castrol, and you haven't tried this newer version, it is definitely worth your time. It's an underappreciated model, which is actually superior to the more iconic version. So, that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.